it wasn't me. It was Ignacio. He's the one.
Wasn't me. It was the guy. Ignacio.
I've avoided talking about this entirely on my channel, the show Better Call Saul. Not because I don't like it or because it's not good, it's just the opposite. It's just so good that I feel like no matter what I say, I'm going to be doing it a disservice somehow. But I'm going to do my best here. So I'm just going to go over broadly some thoughts about the episode because, again, I would be going over every single line of dialogue, every single scene, shot and frame if I was going to tell you every single thing that was good about it. But yeah, they have some obviously great tension in here throughout the whole thing, particularly with Kim, of course, wondering what's going to happen with her due to her not being in Breaking Bad. And I think they showed that really well by putting her in situations like, oh no, Kim's going to get killed here, you know, this is going to happen, or this and that. Yeah, so much tension, like, oh my gosh, whenever she just forgot to take her shoes before she was going out the door, I was like, okay, Lalo's going to kill her right here. This goes for the show entirely, but this episode especially, I mean, it's almost like they show off at this point with the cinematography and the foreshadowing on the show and the symbolism, all those different things. You know, every shot is just crafted beautifully. It sounds so generic, but it's true. You know, they do some nice pan out shots, and you can tell just every single frame they're trying to make it look pretty. As well as the foreshadowing. Just a great example, the promo art, the poster art for this last season is like it's like a coat hanger with Saul's like clothing line up until, you know, the point of the end of Better Call Saul and into Breaking Bad. And yeah, so you see his plain suits, his, you know, vibrant suits, and then you see the Cinnabon gear, and then there's just an empty coat hanger because, right, it's the end. So what's going to happen? It's a mystery, but just doing that symbolism to the audience in the picture, it's just like, wow, you know, super awesome. So let's see, and also the audio in some shots, they just let some shots breathe really well. Some scenes like you can hear the crickets, things like that chirping, and they just yeah, allow for that so you feel sucked into the environment with the characters. Great realism as well in here, you know, with like for example, Jimmy was gagged at one point, and the gag is gross and just a weird thing to point out, but the gag was wet, you know, and they did that on purpose, like soaked with spit, just to show, hey, Jimmy's been here for a long time. Whereas, you know, in other shows or movies, they're not gonna show, you know, bother to make that gag super wet just because they're not, you know, putting as much thought and care into it like the writers clearly do here. Nice callbacks too, but they don't, for it to be like a prequel show, you expect them to really go over the top with the callbacks. But when they do it, it's tasteful and subtle. Like Jimmy, whenever they're putting the gag on him, and he's finally coming to the point that we've been waiting for. Why did he say in Breaking Bad, it was Nacho? Nacho did it, you know, Ignacio. And now we finally get him giving that line for the first time, telling Lalo, you know, it was Ignacio. Ignacio did it. So that was great. Put a smile on my face. Some great setup in here as well. You know, we get to see Fring start to see the value in Jimmy whenever he's talking to Kim. Like, what? He just talked Lalo out of doing this? You know, how did this man just talk Lalo, of all people, out of doing something, you know, that he hadn't made his mind up to do? So you get to see Fring, okay, this is how Fring decides to hire on Jimmy and start working with him. And as well as the stuff with Gus in this episode, you know, a lot of tension, build up tension too. Even though, you know, Gus makes it into Breaking Bad, you're still rooting for him, and you know, like, oh god, whenever he gets shot in the bulletproof vest, they find smart ways to do it where you're like, okay, he could get hurt, injured here, even though you know what happens. They do a good job at kind of making you forget that. And yeah, super cool how Gus gets to drop on Lalo by cutting the cord and all of that. The only thing that I have to say, and I'm sure that it's something that I've missed, but how did Gus have that gun down there, the revolver? I have enough faith in the writers of the show and all that, more than enough to know that it's probably just something I missed. Mike being so afraid and so shaken in this episode is something that I don't really think we've ever seen before, and that was nice to see the panic and stress on Mike's face trying to figure out Lalo and get 10 steps ahead of him, because Lalo was already so far ahead of everybody else. That was really nice and scary to see. Like, if Mike scared you, like, oh no, I should be fucking terrified. And then let's see, Howard's demise was set up perfectly, you know, for them to have this whole thing where they're setting up him to be addicted to cocaine, and then that works really well to write him off, you know, as to what happened and believable, so that case never comes up again. And yeah, I feel really bad for him. They definitely display the brutality of how Howard got done dirty, you know, showing him get shoved into the fridge and then buried with Lalo. Mike shows him a little bit of respect, you know. and feels bad for him. But yeah, he was under the lab in Breaking Bad the whole time he was there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about it. Perfect episode, top to bottom. And I really give the writers of the show a lot of credit, because to most of the time, whenever you get showrunners or whatever that have a super successful show like Breaking Bad, one of the most successful shows of all time, if not the most successful, you would think that they say, okay, well, people are going to watch Better Call Saul no matter what, so we really don't have to try too hard, to get those viewers. So we'll just make it whatever. But they buckled down. They said, no, we're going to make this even better somehow, or not better, arguably, but just as good, and show that we are deserving of all of that praise for Breaking Bad. And yeah, we're going to do it justice and give them something great. So yeah, if only all showrunners and writers put this much care and quality into their work, So that's all I got to say. Absolutely a 10 out of 10 for me. And yeah, super excited to see how all of this ends up. I just have no doubt. Usually with shows, I'm on the fence because I've seen so many good shows end poorly. So I'm like, okay, how's this going to go? Kind of worried about it, but this show is one of them that I really have no doubts. No way it's going to end badly. Although Dexter New Blood, whenever Dexter New Blood was on, I was like, yeah, no way they're going to end this bad twice, and they ended Dexter bad twice. So, I could still be surprised, but I don't think so. So let me know what you think thought about this episode. I mean, there's no way you thought anything other than good things. So yeah, but let me know what you think is going to happen to Kim and how it's all going to end up. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.